Hey everyone! Welcome back to JMGC TV, where we break down complex tech into simple, easy-to-follow tutorials. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create your very own Translator app step-by-step using Android IDE. Alright, before we dive in, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on the next video. Let's start by setting up our project in Android IDE. Open Android IDE, create a new project, and name it anything you want. Make sure your activity is set to empty activity, and then create a project. I will just copy the codes from the testing app I was making earlier and paste it here in what we will do today, so you can follow me. Don't worry, because I will put the link in the description, so you can download it. This tutorial will stick to the traditional set content view method while maintaining simplicity for beginners. You may know view binding, a newer, advanced approach avoiding find view by ID. But for this tutorial, we'll stick to the widely known method. For the initial step, add necessary dependencies to build .Gradle by using libraries for network requests and data server handling. The first library we're adding is Retrofit. Retrofit is a powerful and easy-to-use HTTP client for Android, which simplifies making API requests. In simple terms, it allows us to send data to a web service, like Google Translate, and receive a response back, all without writing complex networking code. In this step, we're going to create the user interface for our Translator app. We'll use a simple layout consisting of an edit text for entering text, a spinner for selecting the target language, a button to trigger the translation, and a text view to display the translated text. Step number 2. We need to create a Java class called Translation Request. This class will hold the data we want to send to the Google Translate API, which includes the text that the user enters and the target language they've selected. In this class, we've defined two private fields, Q, which will hold the text that the user wants to translate, and Target, which stores the target language code. Now that we've set up the request for translating the text, we need to create another class to handle the response from the Google Translate API. This class will be named Translation Response, and it will allow us to capture the translated text sent back from the API. Just like before, we'll create a new Java class by right-clicking on our package and selecting New Java Class. We'll name this class Translation Response. This class will help us to map the response we get from the API into a Java object. After setting up request-response classes, we create an interface for app communication with Google Translate API using Retrofit. Begin by naming an interface called Translation Service. Retrofit annotations are used to specify post requests. ePost defines the API endpoint for translating text. We've created an interface for API requests and prepared core structure. Now let's connect text layout components to Java. We must find edit text, text view, button, and spinner in the activity, main, XML, and assign them variables. Once these UI components are connected, we'll be able to interact with them in our app. We can retrieve the text input from the edit text, show the translated text in the text view, trigger the translation with the button, and allow users to select a language using the spinner. Don't forget to import all these widgets. These imports bring in the Android UI components that we'll use to create an interactive experience. Without them, we wouldn't be able to add buttons, input fields, or display the translated text on the screen. They're the building blocks for our app's interface. This code initializes Retrofit with the base URL for the Google Translation API and sets up the necessary configurations for handling JSON data. By creating a service interface, we prepare our app to make network requests seamlessly, allowing users to translate text efficiently. This code snippet uses a map to associate language names with their Google Translate API codes. When a user selects English, the app uses the code N for English translation, essential due to the API's requirements. This section of the code effectively sets up a user interface for language selection and handles the translation request upon clicking the button. By combining the spinner and button functionality, we enable users to seamlessly interact with our Translator app. This method handles the complete translation process by creating a request, making an API call, and processing the response or any errors that occur. This encapsulates the core functionality of our Translator app, making it interactive and useful for users. Import the retrofit classes that we will be using. Retrofit is a powerful HTTP client for Android and Java that simplifies the process of making network calls. The call interface represents a single request-response pair. This is used to send the request to the API and receive the response. The callback interface is used to handle the response asynchronously. The response class wraps the data returned by a network request. Import JSON Converter Factory, which is a converter for retrofit that allows us to convert JSON responses into Java objects using the JSON library. This is essential for working with the data returned from the Google Translation API. Here, we declare a constant string named API key. The API key is a vital component for using the Google Cloud Translation API. It's used for authentication, and we've structured it to ensure it remains constant and easily accessible throughout our app. Remember to handle your API keys securely. Here, we declare a variable named language map of type map. This map will hold pairs of language names and their corresponding codes, which are required by the Google Translate API for translation requests. Don't forget to import the array list, hash map, and map. These imports help us manage lists and key value pairs, which are essential for our translation app to function properly. If you find any other errors related to missing imports, please follow along with what I am doing. Including this permission is crucial for enabling your app to connect to the internet and function properly. Without this permission, any network operations, like fetching translation data, will fail, causing the app to crash or not perform as intended. Oh, I see there are quite a few errors in the package. Apologies, I may have created an incorrect copy of the 3 Java files. Congratulations! You've just built your own translator app from scratch using Android IDE. With the help of Retrofit, Google Translate API, and basic UI elements, we now have a functional app that can translate text between different languages. This app demonstrates how powerful and flexible Android development can be, allowing you to integrate APIs and create useful tools for everyday tasks. You can now expand on this project by adding more features, like speech input, saving translations, or even supporting more languages. Thanks for following along, and I hope this tutorial has helped you enhance your Android development skills. Just keep watching, because I'll show you how to get your own API key from Google Cloud for your translator application.